I got cut off. That's a little bit painful. Back to slope. Slope, again, we were talking about how it's the horizontal change. The vertical change over the horizontal change, which means it's the change in the y values over the change in the x values. And then I was just about to say, I had reminded you that mathematicians always like to abbreviate everything. For example, slope is the letter M. This is another way that mathematicians abbreviate. This is the symbol for slope. You're going to see this all the time. Triangle y over triangle x. Triangle is actually a Greek letter called delta. So when you see this, you're going to say delta y over delta x. Delta y over delta x. And in math, delta means change. So when you see delta y over delta x, triangle y, triangle delta, the Greek letter delta, triangle y over triangle x, delta y over delta x, it means the change in y. So instead of writing the change in y, mathematicians say, I'm going to be sneaky. I'm going to use that triangle symbol instead. Another way of thinking about slope is that it's the rise over the run. This is what we're going to be talking about a lot, the rise over the run. I'm sure that you heard about this in the 8th grade last year. The rise, how much we go up and down, over the run. These are all different ways of saying the exact same thing. The last way we represent slope is with a formula, and this is super important. You must memorize this formula. The formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You might have heard, if you had Mr. Herman last year, he says y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x of 1. That sub just means it's a subscript. It's tiny and it goes on the bottom of the number. So it's not y2, it's a y and then a little baby 2. Kind of like an exponent, except it's on the bottom of the number. It's a subscript instead of a superscript. This formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x of 2 minus x of 1, that's the formula for slope, where y1 and x1 are point number 1, and x2 and y2 are point number 2. Okay, that was a lot. Let's look quickly at how if you are given a graph. If I'm given a graph like this, what vertical change and horizontal change is. So if I look at this, the vertical change is, start at the beginning. To do this, you have to start by finding points on the line. And what I mean by points on the line is we have to start by finding where the line actually is crossing the grid. So this right here, I don't have a pointer, it's telling me. This is not a point, it's a point on the line, but it's not at whole numbers. So A, B, C, and D, these are all where the line perfectly crosses a grid line. So we start by identifying those places, and then we can count. To get from A to B, I go up 3 boxes and over 4 boxes if you count. 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is what the slope is. I rise 3 and I run 4, which means my slope is 3 over 4. We're going to practice that a lot. What I want to do, so that's how you calculate. You find the points on the line and then you count how much do I go up and how much do I go over, and then you write it as a fraction. Slopes are fractions. The number on top tells you how much you go up or down. The number on the bottom says how much you go left or right. Okay, one more thing is actually finding the slope between 2 points. So if I have 2 points, I need to be able to calculate the slope between these 2 points. That's where that fancy formula comes in. y2 minus y sub 1 over x of 2 minus x of 1. To do this, you have to identify which point you want to be point 1 and point 2. It doesn't matter. You just are picking. So I'm going to pick this as point 1 and this as point 2. If this is point 1, then this